Choreographer Merce Cunningham is one of the most influential artists of our time, both here in the U.S. and abroad. Since founding the Merce Cunningham Dance Company in 1953, his approaches to space, time, and technology have forged his company's distinctive style. At the same time, he has shown us the near limitless possibility for movement inherent in the human body. Sunday Arts had a chance to visit with Merce on the occasion of his upcoming birthday. He will be celebrated with a gala and a world premiere of his latest work. It's called Nearly 90 and will be performed at the Brooklyn Academy of Music, April 16th through the 19th. Merce Cunningham has been at the forefront of contemporary dance from the moment he took off his ballroom dancing shoes and joined the company led by modern dance pioneer Martha Graham in 1939. Cunningham formed his own company in 1953 and began creating his own unique style of dance, often in collaboration with artists such as Jasper Johns, Robert Rauschenberg, Andy Warhol, and the avant-garde composer John Cage.
I think it was back when I began making solos and asked John Cage if he would compose for them. He suggested the possibility of our working, in a sense, separately, and then bring it together and see what the result might be. And it was absolutely absorbing, difficult to do, because I'd never composed or choreographed something without knowing, say, what the music might be. And it led to all kinds of more complicated ways of doing this, but sometimes difficult, but always fascinating.
The inspiration for Cunningham's work has always been pure physical movement, dance that is about nothing except dance. And while other choreographers' movements are almost mathematically worked out, Cunningham has employed elements of chance, with choreographic choices made as a result of tossing dice or the I Ching, and has created dances through a computer program called Dance Forms.
1 and 2. Could we go where your foot is across the back? There. We go from there.
That came about in the 50s, really. There was a general philosophical idea about how using chance operations in one way or another. And one of the things that also happened then was the publication by Pantheon Books of the I Ching, the Chinese Book of Changes, which is a way of casting your fortune or your whatever, ask a question and accept the answer. Also, there was an institute for random numbers, where instead of using what they call logic, they used random means to do their work. And this led to increasingly more complicated ways of discovering about things. And I've used it in one way or another ever since. Life Forms is now called Dance Forms. It began at Simon Fraser University in British Columbia. And through a friend, I received some information about life forms and asked if there was some way I could see some of the work, which was arranged.
So engrossed in looking at this, see what else I can do with it.
And it immediately fascinated me because you could put a dance shape, a movement on and see it go from one situation to another. And so I have worked with it one way or another ever since, not as much now, I think, because it is complicated to do, but the result has led me into thinking different ways of how to put movement together and be willing to accept it.
1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1.
I would use chance operations to make a sequence on the dance form, on the program, just to see what that looked like. Very often, of course, it was physically impossible, but I always tried it out, because even if you couldn't do what had happened, it led you to see something you hadn't used before.
The third one, wait a minute. The third one is when the right foot goes back.
The creation of a Merce Cunningham work, for some, may seem rather abstract, but Cunningham looks at dance in its simplest, purest form.
Dance is movement in time and space. In the case of humans, you have 2 feet which carry you around, and they, to me, are the source of all of movement. It doesn't mean you have to always use them. There are other possibilities, but the legs are the principal way of moving around, of getting from one place to another. And there is a very simple thing about the basic thing of moving. When you walk, what do? You move, all right, you step out someplace. But in the course of stepping, you have to close your feet as you change from one step to another, which brings about everything else.
And 1, 2, 3, go. Bow, up, yes.
Cunningham has been called America's greatest living choreographer, and at age 90, he continues to make dances. This month, the Merce Cunningham Dance Company will premiere a new work commissioned by the Brooklyn Academy of Music. And like previous works, Merce found a unique group of collaborators.
The designer is a woman from Barcelona, architect, and asked her if she would be interested in this possibility. She had designed for theater, but in a more conventional sense. And she, in saying yes, I'm not sure she realized what she was getting into, nor did I realize. But again, it is a combination of 3, there are 4 elements really: the dance, the set which she will make, the costumes which are being designed at this moment by an Italian designer, and the music which will be played by 4 separate groups, 3 soloists and 1 small group, and the music will all be visible on stage and in the set that is being constructed.
This new work features live performances by Led Zeppelin's legendary John Paul Jones, mixed media sound composer Takahisa Kosugi, and seminal indie rock band Sonic Youth. Always the innovator, we look forward to Cunningham's next work, which may be based on chance, but guaranteed to be brilliant.
You have to love dancing to stick to it. It gives you nothing back, no manuscripts to store away, no paintings to show on walls and maybe hang in museums, no poems to be printed and sold, nothing but that single fleeting moment when you feel alive. It is not for